Hey guys, welcome back to the Kind of an Expert podcast, the only podcast where the guest picks the topic of every single episode. My name is Corey Tyndall, and as always, I'm your host. And this week, I sat down with New York City comedian Jack Finnegan to talk about space. One of my favorite topics. So we had a ton of fun on this podcast, talked about JWST, all the way to aliens, space travel, what it would be like to go to Mars. So if you're into space at all, we pretty much covered everything, and you're going to really like it. So have fun listening to this episode. Follow him at JFinnegan Comedy on Instagram. He's got clips up there, performs all the time in New York City. And as always, follow me at Corey T Comedy on all social media. And if you're in New York, come to a comedy show every single week at Ferns in the East Village. It's a really fun show. We're going to have Jack on it soon. With that, let's get into the episode. All right, so we're talking space.
We're talking space,
And I have to say, when you messaged me that you wanted, so for the listeners, I know every time I ask someone to be on the show, I will give them the premise of the show, because I can't assume comedians actually know what's going on here. I think most of them are like, fine, I'll do your fucking podcast where we'll talk about the same fucking thing every. It's like, no. Guest is picking the topic. Very rarely do they actually send me one beforehand. Most of the time we figure it out. They come with a couple ideas, but you sent me one earlier today. You were like, can we talk space?
Yeah,
and
dude.
I don't think I've been more excited than when someone sent me one early. Normally I gotta negotiate out of it. I was like, nope, we're talking fucking space today.
This is the second time someone's let me pick the topic of a podcast.
Wait, who stole my fucking
No one
premise?
stole it. No, Ben.
kill him.
Shout out Ben Kirschenbaum. He has a podcast where you pick a historical figure and talk about them. And I picked Carl Sagan. So I was like, I'll just go space whenever someone lets me go space. I like to talk space. You know what I mean?
That's where, so I know a lot about space. I don't know a lot about the history of space, who the people were that figured this stuff out.
I don't know it. I know it in the 1900s fairly okay.
Yeah, I
but
mean, I know
the Greek
who
guys,
Galileo
but
is.
I don't. Yeah, I know who Galileo is, but do I remember what he came up with and what Copernicus came up with?
Wasn't Galileo the sun guy? He was the Earth rotates around the sun, and the church was like, no, the fuck it does not.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. But then what did Copernicus do? He thought I think he came up with the idea of orbiting. I think he came up with that, but he thought the Earth was in the center.
Well, we're really making people assured that this is
this is fucking. This is
we're
a hot
real
one.
experts on this one.
This is a hot one. Well, where do you want to start with it? What
I mean,
facet?
Let's get into the fun shit that's happening right now, because this is
JWST.
Yeah,
hell yeah, dog.
That's the big thing.
Hell yeah, dog.
Is going on. Did you see the discovery from a couple days ago?
What was the one a couple days ago?
Apparently JWST just saw some galaxies that are too sbig for how old they are.
Really?
And so they it's that infrared, it can only see there, so it's just a red splotch or whatever, but people smarter than me are looking at it and going no, that's really big.
That shouldn't exist.
Yeah, they're saying that they're going to have to redo their ideas about how galaxies form, because it's too big, and they don't think it would have had enough time for it to be that stable and that large at the same time, because it's only 400 million years old, which is no time at all.
Yeah. It's just absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so hyped when the first deep field image came out.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, you can't talk to anyone about this because no one gives a shit. So,
I give a shit,
I know
Jack.
you give a shit, but
I give a shit.
dude, if I have 2 beers, I just ruin parties. But I remember JWST. I've been talking about the James Webb Space Telescope for I've known about it for so long.
Well, it was being made for what? 40 years?
So long. And it got delayed so many times.
I think Copernicus started building the JWST.
Yeah, and I was going to throw a party for its launch on my roof, and I was going to live stream the launch, and I was going to make people care. I was like, I'm going to throw a party. I'm going to make you watch this thing lift off.
That's
and
so
then,
oldest sibling of
dude.
you.
And then it kept, yeah, dude, it is. And then it kept getting delayed, and then I was home when it launched, and I woke up at 5 a.m. to watch it launch. From my house.
At 5 of them.
It launched so early because it was they launched it from not Florida. They launched it from, I I forget, like some island somewhere. And it was so early in the morning. I remember being by myself in my mom's living room being like, I'm so happy. And then it worked, and I was like, fuck yeah. And then when I knew Deep Field was coming, I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And that made me very happy.
I remember I watched part of the launch, I think. I watched something recently. Maybe, what was the thing that they shot into space right before JWST? Was that just more astronauts going to the ISS?
It might have been.
Or something like that.
Was that, I mean, the last mission, they did the asteroid crash. I don't know if that was before JWST.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one live.
I don't think I watched that launch live. I think it hit the asteroid kind of near JWST, but I don't know.
Okay. Real quick on that asteroid one, they were like, let's throw something in and see if we can like knock it off course.
Yeah.
That seems like that whole project felt to me, because the idea of it was like, if we have a major asteroid coming, we'll be able to knock it off course.
Yeah.
That reminded me of in high school when I would write 3/4 of a page as a rough draft for an English paper, but the thing needed to be 10 pages long.
Yeah.
And then I realized that it didn't actually help me to write the 3/4 of a thing.
Yeah.
Is this actually going to be worth the money and the time when this shit actually hits
I mean,
us?
I think so.
I hope so.
I mean, in my head, it's like you got to. It's like a. I don't know. I'm trying to think of it's like a crock pot. I don't know why that example came to my head, but it's like a thing you buy once and you have forever. And for me, it's like, is the situation of an asteroid hitting Earth like crazy unlikely? It is. But at the same time, if it ever were to happen, it'd be cool to have like a plan.
True.
Because it's almost happened. There was, dude, in the 1800s, there was this Mexican astronomer, like kind of amateur Mexican astronomer, and he took a picture, and you can see it online, of all these little dots over the sun. And people, like, for years, like UFO people said it was UFOs, but it wasn't UFOs. But, like, scientists,
Shocking.
like, for a long time couldn't figure out what the fuck he was seeing because no one else reported it. Like, no one else in any other part of the world reported that they saw these things. And, like, this guy had an image of it. Like, it was definitely real.
Before Photoshop.
He took, like, it's black and white picture. It's kind of cool. But they were like, why did this guy in Mexico able to do this when, like, more advanced astronomers in other parts of the world, no one caught this? And they determined because it was so close to the Earth, he was the only one with the vantage point to see it. Meaning, like, all these asteroids were, like, civilization-ending asteroids, and I think they came in between the Earth and the Moon.
Just, like, screaming by.
Like, screaming by at a level, like, if you had to be literally on the part of the Earth that was facing them passing to see them. Because they came in between the Earth and the Moon. So, like, in the last 200 years, there has been a situation... Like, now we probably would have tracked those and been like, fuck, and, like, not known what to do. But that was, 200 years ago. That happened.
All right. Well, cool. Then I guess I'll be happy for the 3/4 page rough draft that we wrote. I mean, it's good to, like, research that shit. It just didn't say, like, the asteroid seems so small in comparison to anything that would
that's the thing.
It would, and I was, come on.
Oh, dude, if, like, the dinosaur asteroid was heading towards us, we'd be fucked.
Yeah, that's...
Like, right now, today, we'd be fucked.
Yeah.
God, that sucks.
I'd still go do a spot, I think.
I probably would do a spot.
The open mic scene would be nuts.
Dude, it'd be crazy.
So many
people
trying to get their last ideas out.
No, not
there.
only that, it'd be so many people who, like, quit their jobs to be like, I was meant to be a stand-up the whole time. I have 6 months. Because we'd probably know for a little bit. Like, we'd see it coming for a few months. So there'd be people who'd be like, I quit my job. I'm going to make people laugh.
What was that movie that just came out with Leo?
Piece of shit movie. I hated that movie.
You hated that movie?
Oh, I hated that movie.
Thought it was...
Don't Look Up.
Yes, Don't Look Up. Yeah, thank you. I didn't hate it. It definitely wasn't, like, prestige. I was like, well, it's cheeky.
Yeah, I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, within, like, 15 minutes, I was like, I see the metaphor. You're going
right.
for it.
They did beat you over the head with the
They're
metaphor.
like, we got it. But, yeah.
All right, back to the JWST.
Let's do it.
I guess for people that don't know very much about it, what is the significance of this versus the Hubble telescope, all the telescope we've got on land? And, like, I kind of touched on it on, like, those like pictures of the old galaxies, but, like, why is this so important?
Okay.
In the general sense.
Compared to Hubble. So picture Hubble. Hubble launched, I don't remember when Hubble launched, like early 90s.
04?
It got fixed in 04.
Okay.
I think it was like, I thought it was 90s. I could be wrong about that. But Hubble was up for like a really long time, and it, like, all the images we have of the universe are pretty much from Hubble. Like all the, like, really famous ones. JWST is its replacement. the reason it's so much better than the thing that has been the gold standard for 20 years is it is so much farther away. Hubble orbits Earth.
Farther away from Earth.
From Earth. Hubble orbits Earth. JWST orbits like past the moon.
Okay.
So JWST is orbiting in an orbit that the Earth wouldn't even be able to like keep it going. Like it has to constantly kind of adjust itself to stay in this like very far out orbit. Meaning basically there's less light pollution. Like there's not going to be any interference from Earth or satellites or the moon or the sun. Like it just is kind of in the middle of fucking space doing what it's doing. B, it's not just using, I don't know if Hubble used infrared light. I think Hubble did. But JWST is mainly an infrared light telescope. So it's not really getting visible light. Because what happens is, and this goes back to like 5th grade science, light leaves an object as visible light. That's when you look around your room, you see shit, that's visible light coming off it. Visible light, as it travels through space is constantly expanding. So what that does is it expands the light waves of visible light, and as the wavelengths become longer, that makes it infrared light. So JWST absorbs that infrared light, and the cool shit that it fucking does is it can do it on a specific level where say a sun gives off light and that light passes through a planet's atmosphere. We have because of JWST, we can read the spectrum of what light waves were absorbed by that atmosphere, and therefore we know what is in that atmosphere. Meaning, like, if there's a lot of CO2, I don't know the exact chemicals, this is where I get fucked up, but like we know the chemicals that life produces. We know the chemicals that like plant life produces.
Sure. Oxygen,
all these. So
nitrogen,
we can tell if
methane.
like that's a good example is if this light passes through this planet's atmosphere and we're like, there's a shit ton of oxygen on this planet, and there's also CO2, which means there might be photosynthesis or some shit. Like it will tell us. JWST will give us the targets of where to look for other habitable planets, which Hubble could not do. And that's pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah. 2 thoughts. If you learned all that in 5th grade, you went to an insane
No,
school.
the wavelength thing was 5th grade.
Even the wavelength
The
thing,
rest
that was
of
maybe
the-
like 11th
the rest of
grade,
that was Adderall at
10th
work.
grade. The rest of that, I was like, damn, we're teaching kids about this.
Yeah,
They should
dude.
be learning.
I'm like, am I being boring right now? But I'm fucking go. You asked.
No, I did
So
ask.
JWST can tell us what planets might be the planets that have life on them, and that is so fucking cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. And it's, I think, one of the things that kind of gets undersold the most.
Yeah.
Like, we sent it up there, and we get the really cool photos back, and everyone was kind of like, all right, well, that's some cool photos. We're going to learn about, well, obviously, we can't see the Big Bang per se, but it's kind of like, all right, this will help with stuff. But I don't hear many people talking about that. No. You get to see planets.
Oh, no,
we may be able to go to
and it's gonna be
live on.
Dude, and it's gonna be up there for I don't know how long its mission life is, but like there's so much time to like we're gonna figure out which planets where to like not live, because I don't think humanity's ever getting fucking anywhere, but where to shoot like a little robot. Like they have plans to be like they've thought about like how do we actually get something there, and we're not getting fucking humans there because it's just not happening. But we could take like pretty much they want to take like a GoPro essentially and put a light sail on it and just shoot a fucking laser at it. So basically like just like launch a fucking tiny camera all the way to another planet and try to take a pic and see what the fuck's up there. That's fucking dope. So that will give us JWST gives us the targets for where to go.
Gotcha.
And
so it's kind of like radar, space radar.
Sort of.
It's gonna show
like
us
space
where
radar.
this stuff
and then
is.
along the way, it gives us all these like cool like pictures and shit. And all the pictures are again. There's like it's
so
not.
many nerds have a new phone background since that
Oh,
thing.
dude, me. I have a new
my
work
buddy
background.
Immediately
I have a new
was
work
like,
background.
Here you go. They're all on Reddit.
Dude, that fucking
stream of 90 of them.
That
It's
deep
like,
field
thank
photo
you.
that they released. I forget how much more it was than Hubble, but it was. They could look back so much farther than Hubble could.
Oh yeah.
And it was just fucking dope.
Part of it is to go back to the light thing.
Yeah.
Infrared travels better than other light types of light. So to your point about light being absorbed in certain atmospheres, infrared can cut through a lot more of those different atmospheres, which is why it's seemingly so much clearer than Hubble. I think they did do a little infrared, but it was mostly visible light.
Yeah. I don't think JWST even has a visible light camera.
I don't think so, because I think they said it would throw off the sensors.
Yeah, they just wanted to go all in on infrared. They were just like, fucking infrared.
Well, let's see what's happening. And then, throw another camera up
Yeah.
there that goes all in on X-ray or whatever.
Yeah.
They see some pulsars or some
fuck
shit.
yeah.
I do want to throw in there, though, we're lucky because was it in the first hour or the first day the JWS unfolded, it got hit by a tiny little asteroid that
it got dinged.
almost shattered one of the
whole
mirrors
thing.
and the whole thing would have been completely useless and out of whack, but they were able to fix it. God damn it, that'd be stressful.
Dude, that's annoying. I mean, that's what happened to Hubble.
25 years of work, $10 billion, and then just a space rock. Not even people, I don't think, appreciated how small it was. It was the size of a speck of dust that hit this fucking mirror, which is how empty it is in space where it's at. I think people were thinking a rock, a small rock, because no, this was almost an invisible piece of material
That's
that almost
why
just ruined $10 billion.
One thing I don't understand is why that can't just happen all the time to it. As it's going through space, why a random ass little pebble can't just fucking ding
I think it can. I remember listening to a podcast about it, and they were saying it was built so that it could get hit a little bit, a few times, but if it got hit hard enough by something, big enough, then it would be a bigger problem. And that thing that hit it was just barely small enough. Just barely small enough that it was able to
that it was okay.
reconnect, and readjust.
Well, they got fucked with Hubble when they launched Hubble. I forget what was wrong with it, but they immediately had to send up a repair mission before Hubble worked.
That's right.
Hubble was launch, and then they had to come up with a whole new fucking mission to fix it. And I forget who it was at the time, but they were threatening to defund NASA. They were like, "You motherfuckers!" Probably some congressman. But I remember NASA was under a lot of pressure because they were like, "There's so much money to do this twice, you assholes."
Right, right. That's good for them.
Yeah.
Those nerds need a little bit of pressure.
Give them a little kick in
The
the
Soviets
ass.
aren't doing it anymore, so we need
Soviets aren't
Congress.
doing shit anymore.
No, it's kind of China and India are kind of working on it.
China and India
really
are doing
the
cool
biggest
shit.
competition is Elon Musk.
Yeah, but I don't like him either. With space.
That was going to be my next question. It's how do you feel about
I don't like
SpaceX and commercialized space travel?
The tech side of it is dope. What he's doing with reusable rockets and stuff where rockets can go up. And I'm cool with the private companies doing low Earth orbit and stuff, which is what he's doing currently.
Yeah.
But when it comes to going to Mars, I don't want it. I don't want him to do it. I don't like him because Carl Sagan is the North Star of most people who got me into space. Most astronomers who I follow on Twitter and shit, on space Twitter. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves Carl Sagan, and I love Carl Sagan. And when you listen to him talk about space, he's he has a very famous speech called the Pale Blue Dot speech, which basically when Voyager was passing Saturn, he had it turn around and take a picture of Saturn facing Earth. So it's a picture of Saturn, and then one pixel bit. There's this one blue pixel. You have to zoom in to see it, and that's Earth. And it's called the Pale Blue Dot picture. And he has a really amazing speech on it that if you look it up, it's just the most beautiful thing in the world. But at one point, he kind of says, "Look at this." I'm paraphrasing. I'm not going to do it as well as him. But he was like, "Look at this dot. There's nowhere else we can go right now. Visit, yes, but settle, not quite. For now, Earth is where we make our stand." And Elon Musk read that line out loud at a press conference and was like, "He's wrong. We can go to Mars." And it's that's not... it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It is you're shitting on Carl Sagan and being I'm smarter than Carl Sagan, and also go fuck yourself.
Well, he does think he's smarter than
he thinks he's smarter than everybody. No one. Well, Elon Musk is a whole nother discussion, but he the idea that we're gonna settle Mars. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about flag planting Mars for Elon Musk, essentially.
Right.
And starting a colony there, which is a useless fucking exercise.
Yeah.
Science is fun to do on Mars. Science is dope. But if we're going to he's talking about turning Mars green, if we're going to do that, we just fucking do it on Earth. If we really wanted to create more habitable land and we had technology to fix an atmosphere, we would start here and work our way back.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid... I just think he's very misguided in his goals. I like the tech that he's funding to get there, that he's not designing or creating. He's just funding. I like that, but his philosophy of space travel... And also I'm just eked out by a private dude being the forefront of exploring the universe.
Right. Yeah, that is, and I know he works with NASA and whatnot, but I was actually just listening to like a former politician talk about how Elon Musk owning Starlink is awful for global politics because the United States government, like, he's deciding whether Ukraine can use the internet or not in their war.
Yeah.
And they're like, and this is more politics, but it does have to do with space because as more companies start throwing more shit into space, we're going to have more and more issues like this. And so right now where there's no competitors, the US is like, the government is kind of panicking. They're like, hey man, can you not turn that off because it's helping our fucking war? And he's like, that's not my war.
And also people are saying like,
all right.
they're like Starlink might be like the beginning of the end of ground-based astronomy.
Yeah.
Because it's people view, when you think about sending things into space, it feels like, oh, it's fucking space. Like we could do whatever we want with it.
Yeah.
But really what you're doing is you're putting things in low Earth orbit, which isn't, I mean, it's still a fucking massive amount of space, but like it's not that much. And eventually if you just keep throwing shit up there, you're going to look up and see it all the time.
Yeah.
When you go to, if you've ever been in like the desert or like a dark sky spot, and you can see satellites and shit.
Oh yeah.
Like it's cool. And like eventually you'll just see satellites. Like there won't be anything else to see.
I was gonna say it's cool when you could spot the satellite because it's obviously not a plane. It's going kind of slow. You're like, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'm a little torn on the Mars thing. Like, part of it is sure, let him try.
Right.
Like, the tech is going to be cool. A lot of, you could argue the same thing about the moon. Like, why would we need to go to the moon?
Yeah.
But a lot of the technology that we have here on Earth, like GPS and polymers and all that stuff, came from trying to get to the moon. So on the one hand, it's like, now we should be trying to terraform Mars and set up a settlement because we're going to invent so many different things trying to do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But to your point, the absolutist ideology that he has around, nope, Earth's fucked. Can't. No, it's not worth the time. It's
and also,
like, it is. Like, we could do both, but let's not let the Earth be ruined here because you want to go to Mars, and
it's like kind of
the best thing to do because it's not.
It's focusing on the wrong thing. And also, I want to be clear. I'm not against going to Mars. I think humans should go to Mars, just in a scientific manner, not in like a whole new world. Like, not, it's fucking not happening.
Well, maybe someday.
Maybe.
I guess.
It'd be cool.
I'm not ruling it out, but you're right. I don't think there's anything there besides, I don't think it'll be habitable. I think it'll be, like, they're talking about building a moon base.
Yeah.
Fully on board with the moon base.
Fully on board with the moon base.
Give me
I'm
the
a little
science.
scared.
You hit me.
Of, like, I mean, I want to build
monsters?
I want to build a moon base.
Creatures?
It just feels like the natural conclusion. I don't know, do you watch Star Trek at all?
No.
I'm a big Star Trek guy.
One of the only nerdy, like really nerdy things I haven't watched.
No, that's fair.
I watched the movies, but not the TV show. I knew
fair.
you weren't talking about the movies with Chris Pine.
I've only watched Next Generation. I haven't watched like the original Star Trek or all the other ones, but like in Next Generation, in one of the Next Generation movies, there's just a scene where they go back in time through some stupid thing, and they're looking up at the moon, and the guy's like, "Wow, I've never seen the moon like clean before." And so like in my head, that is the inevitable, like once we build a moon base and we build some other shit on the moon, eventually you're going to see it when you look up, and that's going to be a shitty day. Like, I get that that's kind of naturally going to happen, but like when you look up,
you
and
wouldn't think it'd be fun to like telescope, watch people walking around on the moon?
I don't know.
I think that'd be fun as hell. You like telescope up there, you see two people fucking.
I'm just afraid I'm gonna look up and see like
moon
I'm
sex.
very hippie about this. I'm very, very hippie about this. I'm
You're
afraid
not
of
only an
looking up
environmentalist for Earth, you're an environmentalist
for the fucking moon, bro.
moon.
I just don't want to look up and see like a Toyota dealership sign. That's like what I'm afraid of. I don't care about people. People, that'd be cool.
Would Toyota-thon be in sync with Earth?
Yes,
Toyota-thon?
if you don't think they're gonna build a McDonald's on the moon,
No,
they will
I
build
know
one
they-
so fast.
I know they will. But how much of it is different from Earth? You think they sync up with the dates? You think Toyota-thon's the same on the moon as it is on Earth?
I think it must be, right?
It's gotta be. But there's different weather, you know? There's no weather on the moon.
Well, also you're selling. What are you selling? I guess the moon rovers that are
It
Toyotas.
is. Well, okay, so that'd
That'd be sick. That would actually
would
be
be-
so dope.
be
but-
dope.
okay.
Yeah, I want to see some dude with a bad toupee, roll into the Toyota dealer, the Moon Toyota dealership, decide
this will get you
what
all the
his
way to the Sea
family-
of Tranquility.
Yeah, watch out for craters.
Watch out for craters on your way.
That is kind of what they would use the moon for, though. It would be essentially a giant a giant space gas station.
Yeah. Yes.
Because of how much. Half the reason it's so hard to build a rocket and send anything into space is because the Earth is, one, pulling it back with gravity.
Yep.
And two, the atmosphere is super thick.
Yep.
And so once you get out of Earth, you really don't need that much fuel. Right. The issue is getting out of Earth. And then if you want to like interstellar travel, you're going to need a shitload of fuel, like fusion. Sure. But essentially the idea would be that you would have enough fuel to get to the moon, and then you would restock on the moon. Yeah. And then you could potentially like go out past Neptune and Pluto and find all those like dark planets that are flying around over there. No,
that I'm fully on board for it. When they make it a moon base for like that, I mean, that's what they would do. Like, I think every plan, I mean, I only know NASA's and SpaceX, but I think both of them have refueling on the moon in there. Like, I think that's like a main thing. I hope we go to Europa. We could go to Europa. That'd be cool. That'd be dope. Europa would be sick.
So Europa, that's the Jupiter moon that is like covered in ice and has liquid water under it.
Yep. And it's like we're pretty sure there's an ocean underneath there that could possibly have life in it, which would be sick. Space fish would be awesome. Is so sick.
Yeah, I fuck with some
space fish. And it's cool the way it like heats. Like the reason we know there's an ocean there is because it's so small and it's orbiting Jupiter, and Jupiter's so fucking goddamn big that as it orbits Jupiter, it literally like is stretching the planet, and then like it folds back in, and then it stretches, and then it folds back in, and that friction just melts all the ice in the middle, and then that's what makes the home for space fish.
Yeah,
and I want space fish, dude. That'd be cool. Europa would be cool.
What do you think they would do if they found space fish?
Dude,
what's the reaction to that?
I mean, that'd be such a cool day.
That'd be one of top 5 favorite days.
Not just for us, but like imagine you're on, I don't know, like if you're there and you're in your little, I don't know where the fuck you'd be, but you put your little camera down there and you see a space fish. The high five that happens in the next moment would be so nice. Between like, let's make it like really romantic. It would be like an American and like a Russian. Like it would be like really poetic and just like a high five. We found a fucking space fish.
Space fish.
Sick. It'd be
I'd
so
get a picture
cool.
of it and put it on my wall for sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they
fish.
would do. Oh, dude, I would. That'd be so funny. Like those old timey, like you know, those like fisherman
like those
ones.
Billy Big Mouth Bass ones that sing a song.
Yeah. If it was a space fish, oh, it'd be awesome. I mean, that moment of like reaching the camera head down into the ocean, I'd be like, oh, I'd be so excited.
I mean, so cool. I would too. What does that do to? Because I feel like. That was like the argument growing up, right? It's like, well, if there's aliens, then like the Christians and all the religious people will be wrong. Is there anyone that really believes that like aliens don't exist on some level anymore? Do you think?
I doubt it.
I feel like most people.
And also,
maybe in
I have a feeling,
like,
but
Iran.
I think they could maybe make, like, because there's no religion left that thinks that like the Earth doesn't orbit the sun, right? Like that's not. Because even when all these fucking religions were founded, people... Well, I'm not going to say that. I have no idea what people thought. But, like, no, I was going to say they knew that the Earth orbited the sun. I'm like, no, they didn't.
Some cultures did, but then
some did. I didn't want to say that definitively.
There were other... I think, like, the ancient Egyptians knew that.
Really?
But I think when they got taken over... Or they died out. Just the knowledge just kind of went away, and some other more confident person was like, "They were wrong. What do they know? They're an old civilization. What the fuck?"
Because I know like
do they know?
Middle Eastern astronomers were like considered the best of the ancient times. They were like really fucking good. So I was like, maybe they did ancient
time. That was just in the dark ages.
Europe
was dying. The Middle East was this fucking paradise, and they don't tell any of this shit.
No
in
one tells
schools.
You that. Yeah, no one tells you that.
Public schools do not acknowledge this.
Wasn't so dark over there.
No, it was pretty hot and dry and sunny.
It was
all
nice.
the time,
and they were doing science.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think religion could probably easily. I mean, it would take like 5 minutes for them to be like, and he also created the fish.
That's true.
Like, it would take them 15 minutes to come up with like how religion justifies space fish.
Or it'd be a conspiracy. They made that up.
Oh,
like the videos, it was a deep fake.
The
It was
conspiracy would
AI.
come in so quick.
Immediately. It's
You would
already
have to-
pre-prepared.
And even
probably.
when you couldn't do anything, you could bring back a carcass and you would still be like, you just duct taped shit together or whatever. Unless it looked like something so crazy that no one knew. The fuck?
I can't even picture. That's the fun part about aliens is like it could be something that we can't even comprehend.
I love
it's
that.
like how the mantis shrimp could see colors that we can't even
Is that real?
conceive of. Yeah, it could see like 150 different colors or something.
Oh, fuck.
And because it's got like 26 cones in its eyes and we have like 4.
Oh, shit.
So there
are colors we don't know about?
there's so many colors we don't know about.
Oh, that's
Think of it like
so
waves
sweet.
of light.
Yeah.
Like
no,
we
I know
can't
you're saying-
see UV.
Right.
But like visible light has more colors to it. And we see it as like blue.
Yeah.
Or red or something like that, but something with more cones would be able to distinguish the differences between.
Huh.
So
That's
like it
fucking
could
awesome.
be with an alien, just something that we can't even.
Yeah. And that was like one of my favorite Neil deGrasse Tyson things back in the day. But he said like on Earth, the intelligent species happened to be animal. Like we are the ones that became the intelligent. Could be plants on another fucking
Could be
planet.
like Last of Us.
Exactly.
It could be the
fungus.
smartest fungus ever.
Just smart ass fungus. Like shit could be. That's why like it's always.
That's a good point. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, like it happened to be animals, and that's why every time we like envision aliens, they have like 2 arms and 2 legs.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, the chances of that are so fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, that's why like Arrival was like it's a giant squid thing. Arrival is one of my top 5 favorite movies.
love
I think.
Arrival.
It was amazing.
Love Arrival.
Amy Adams will be my wife.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure, man. I bet.
Why do you think I'm doing this?
It's right around the corner.
Why do you think I'm doing this?
You know
podcast?
what? I imagine this is an
She will
approach.
see this.
This is an approach no one's taken yet. No one's tried this.
I love your movies. No, that was because it came out. There was that thing that was like, no, it'd probably be more like an octopus. That's the closest thing we have to what an alien probably would look like. Some super because there's all this conspiracy theories that like octopuses are from space. Have you heard?
Right?
These?
Yeah, that they crashed in an asteroid. Yeah.
And it's unlikely.
Probably not. Although it's fucking funny.
I can't. Yeah, I mean they're fucking weird, but also so are crabs.
My thing about Arrival that I really liked is the spaceships don't take off. Yeah. If you remember, the spaceships just sort of dissolve.
Yeah.
And that was another theoretical thing Neil deGrasse Tyson said. He was one of the first people to get me into space back in high school and shit. But we assume, like, there could be a creature that moves through... We move through 3 dimensions. There could be a creature that's dumber than us that moves through 4.
I was actually wondering if we were going to get to, like, theoretical physics
like the
this.
idea of, like, a squirrel that just is running around the universe because that's what it does.
Yeah.
Is fucking cool.
It's awesome. So for non-super nerds who haven't watched Rick and Morty.
I haven't actually.
You haven't watched Rick and Morty?
It's always like a blind spot where everyone's like, that's exactly a show for you, and I've never watched it.
Are you just now watching it out of spite at this
no,
point?
I think it's a weird thing where like it feel like I missed my window.
No, it's still
I
streaming.
know, but I don't know.
You waited until after the
I'm also,
creator
like-
decided to beat his girlfriend
Right.
and then
Well, that's a
groom
huge
teenagers?
issue.
This-
That's a wall I also come
that
into
is
now.
that is the step that you kind of...
Is the other one Dan Harmon though? It's him and
Yeah,
Dan
the
Harmon.
other one is also...
It also has some
not
sketchy
as
shit.
bad,
but
he,
also
he
they're
hasn't been
claims.
arrested. But he did apologize, which is a low bar,
Hey,
but
man.
it is higher than a lot of men get to.
Baby steps.
Babies. I mean,
But-
we could take bigger steps.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something with me. I'm bad at watching like funny shit when I'm alone. Like I like watching it with people, and I
Fair.
like never like get to watch.
I
don't
got
know.
into it in college when it was
Right.
like,
It feels like
my-
a college couch show,
Yeah.
and I think I'm just past
Oh,
it.
you want to smoke weed and watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
Like, what else am I
Of
doing?
course.
Of course I do.
Of course.
So the idea of the dimension. So you got like one dimension is just a point. It's literally it's just a point. 2 dimensions is like drawn on a piece of paper. It's flat. 3 dimensions everyone understands. We live in 3 dimensions. It's got an X, Y, and a Z axis. The 4th dimension, a lot of people think is time. So it is the 3 dimensions that we know, but you're able to step out one and you can see that 3rd dimension just repeated like it's its own axis, which they did in Inception when he like goes into the bookcase and looks out. That was him looking at getting out of the third dimension and into the fourth dimension.
I think you mean Interstellar.
What did I say?
You said Inception.
Yes,
Yeah.
Interstellar. Thank you. I mixed up my Christopher Nolan Bro movies.
Yeah, that happened.
Cillian Murphy's in everything. How can I keep him straight? So what you're saying, theoretically, there could just be a creature. Like, think of the dumbest person you know, but he's able to just time travel.
Yeah.
Because he could just like on a dime be like, oh, I'm gonna go over here. Just in the same way that you and I would walk across the room.
Yeah.
He can walk across
just
time.
a dumbass doing
Just a fucking moron.
And then
I love this as a premise. I've never heard the theory that like the fourth dimensional beings are fucking idiots.
Oh, it's so stupid.
That's
and I think
so good.
And I also think like that's my favorite theory for UFOs. My favorite theory for UFOs is that's what they are. They're just dumbass fucking, I don't know what they're, just dumbass creatures from another planet who just jump through time, and we're all like freaking out over like they're coming to invade us. They're not. They're just looking for like nuts. They're really not doing anything.
Just picture the dumbest golden lab you've ever seen
Dude,
in your life.
It explains a lot of UFO sightings.
Explain a shit.
Like, dude, the Phoenix Lights were some big ass creature just planted over Phoenix. It was like, oh fuck, and then like dipped.
Literally took a wrong turn.
Literally, it's just like the dumbest. Like UFOs could literally just be the dumbest members of our universe. They just happen to have this ability to like walk around and do shit.
That's so good. Wow.
I like that.
You just changed my life with this theory.
Yeah, dude.
This is my new favorite.
That's my UFO theory.
UFOs, where do you stand on them actually?
I don't fucking know. I really don't. I guess
moving on.
No. I lean towards they're real.
Okay.
I lean towards there are just certain stories, I'll be honest, where I'm just like, I don't know. I can't explain that. Like, I think 99% of them are complete bullshit. Yeah. And anyone who said they've met an alien or like, I don't know if I believe in that kind of stuff, but like the Phoenix Lights actually is a good example of like, I don't know what the fuck that was.
What is the Phoenix Lights?
Oh, the Phoenix Lights was, it was 2000, I don't know, early 2000s. And like, it's basically this mass UFO sighting in Phoenix, and it was like the entire fucking city reported it.
Oh wow! Okay.
To the point where like everyone looked up. There's video of it, and you could just see a triangle of lights, and people said they looked up and it was blocking the night sky. And then the mayor, in like a press conference the next day, like he was like, we found the culprit of the lights, and he brought out like one of his staffers in an alien costume, and everyone was like, haha. And then years later,
that's a good bit.
And then after, yeah, it was a pretty good bit. It was honestly a pretty good bit. But then afterwards, he has done 1,000 interviews where he's like, I have no idea what the fuck that was. The Air Force wasn't answering me.
The mayor.
But
it's
at least
not like this was the fucking 5-star general over here.
I'm 50-50 between it's actually aliens and
it's
just
mid-market NBA team.
Yeah, that is true. That's actually so true. That's actually so true. I don't know. I think I'm 50-50 between they're aliens and they're just like drones the government hasn't told us about yet.
Yeah.
Because they've literally explained UFO sightings from the 50s. It was the stealth bomber.
Yeah.
Like commercial pilots didn't know about it and they thought it was an UFO, and it was just the stealth bomber being fucking tested.
That was, yeah. Well, the one that freaked everyone out recently was the Air Force pilots had that video of the shadow that like.
But even that, I was like, I don't know.
Well, they did some research, and this is the fucking media these days. They figured out what it was, but nobody actually heard. Yeah. They didn't tell anyone until I listened to it on this podcast, It was if your camera is upside down and it can see glare off of another thing, it blacks out the glare. So it was a camera trick. Right. It was literally just a glare spot.
The whole time I kind of thought that. Yeah. Not that I knew it was a camera trick, but I was like, I don't fucking know if that's a UFO.
And that's why it moves so weird, because it's literally like in the podcast, I don't remember how, but he was like, you could do this. Like you could do this with your phone at night in your house. Yeah. And it's going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Nobody heard about that. The other part of that, anything that happens out west, I just believe is government stuff.
Right. Yeah.
In the desert.
It's always some weird shit, which could be Phoenix Lights.
If there's shit over in New York City, then it's kind of like, all right, well, the government wouldn't be testing shit.
That's also my main thing.
A metropolitan, like on the East Coast, because everyone would freak out. We think it was bombs. Right. So they know they can't do that.
Right.
But like anything over the west,
I don't trust it.
There's nothing going on.
And also for me, it's like
that's my East Coast elitism.
It also feels to me like UFO sightings started in like 1947. Like there just weren't. I don't know. Maybe someone could prove me wrong on that, but like, are there colonial UFO sightings? Like I haven't heard of any of them.
That's a good.
And maybe they just showed up in the 40s, and
sounds like a good movie.
Well, there's that theory.
Aliens in the colonies.
The aliens in the colonies. Because that would be so fucking funny.
All right, nobody steal this idea. We're going to write this.
Aliens in the colonies.
Aliens in the colonies.
Judd Apatow.
Yeah, exactly.
Starring Seth Rogen as John Adams.
He's John Adams and the aliens.
He smokes weed with the aliens as John Adams. But there's a theory that aliens showed up once. The reason it all like happened in the 50s, 60s is they showed up once we had nukes. But I'm like, that's dumb as shit also.
The only defensible part to that to me is that if I were an alien, that is when I would show up.
Is it? Like for me, it's like
if I'm invested at all,
right,
in what this planet is doing.
Once they do the nuke thing,
it's like, oh, the baby's got a fork and it's crawling towards the outlet. I should probably go grab it.
But they're not grabbing it. That's
that's
thing.
The conspiracy. We don't know.
Why aren't they grabbing it?
Maybe they did. Maybe everyone's lying about having nukes still.
It's just the way, like, I want to believe that UFOs are aliens. I really, really do. Yeah. It just feels to me like, it's just, at this point also, we don't have one fucking great picture. Like, not one. In the age of iPhones,
too good for this.
No one's gotten one.
We just took a picture of a galaxy that's 13 billion years old.
And we've also had,
can't get a UFO going on?
We've also had, like, pretty good cameras for, like, 40 years. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, not one goddamn clean cut, just bam, fucking UFO, you know?
So I guess this is a good roll into like the Kardashev scale and like interplanetary civilizations and that idea.
Yeah.
Because there's a concept called, I think it's called the Great Barrier or the Great Wall. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
So it's essentially saying that we should have run into aliens,
right?
With how big the universe is, and if life is as common as we think it is, there should be interplanetary civilizations, and they should have gotten to us by now. There's still a chance they haven't because the universe is huge, and they could have been on the other side.
Yep.
But the theory is that there is some barrier that prevents civilizations from ever getting to the point of taking over their solar system or their galaxy or multiple galaxies. And we have no idea what it is.
Right.
But it's terrible because it could be anything.
Yeah, and we don't know. We might not even consider, because I've also heard, I don't know if it's the same principle, but it's the idea of what is considered intelligent life. Like, what is the line? Like, what makes you intelligent life? And like, our best guess is consciousness. Our best guess is like being able to look in the mirror and being like, that's me. Like, being aware. But we also don't know if there is an alien species if we haven't reached, like, they might not see us as intelligent because we haven't reached some shelf that we don't even know about. Like, in the same way what you just said.
Yeah. I don't know if I buy that one as much because for the exact same reason as your space fish.
Yeah.
Like, if we found a space fish and the space fish knew enough, as much as we did, if the space fish was as intelligent as we were, it would go back to his space fish buddies and be like, yo, this just happened. So I don't know how I feel about that unless they're just deciding, unless they're like cloaking is really good and we legit haven't seen them and they are here, which is possible.
That'd be fucking crazy.
Can't rule it out.
I really hope that's not the case. That would suck.
That would suck.
That would suck. But in terms of what you were talking about, sorry, wait, where were we?
The Great Barrier.
The Great Barrier.
Yeah.
Because like that's the Fermi's paradox. Like the idea.
Thank you.
The Fermi's paradox. It's the Fermi's paradox versus the Drake equation. The Drake equation was like this bullshit thing. Drake, he was a scientist. He admitted it was bullshit. It was his best guess at like he made an equation like, well, how likely is it the Earth exists in our solar system? What are the odds of it? And then multiply it by universes. How many planets should there be then with intelligent life?
Right.
And the answer is like millions.
Right.
And then the Fermi's paradox is like, well, then where the fuck are they?
Yeah.
Essentially, like, and that's one of the things is like they existed, but then they hit whatever fucking,
right.
which might be nuclear power, it might be whatever.
Yeah, right. Could
where
be
they
nukes,
just can't do anything.
Could be pandemics. It could be just you can't. Turns out you can't break the speed of light.
Yeah.
Which we know we can't do, but there's like, well, maybe we can get around it by crunching space and making space smaller. But
then they say
you need so much energy to do
you need
that.
so much energy. They also said it like would collapse the universe. Like it wouldn't be good. Like it wouldn't just be a hole you walk through. It would like fucking wreck shit. Yeah, that's why I don't think we're ever going anywhere. I really don't. Like
Space,
I think
our careers.
I think we'll figure out.
This
I think
country.
The way technology progresses for humans is our technology and observation will increase to a level of crazy sophistication, but us physically going places, there are just like limits of physics.
It's gotta be the only thing I can think of for humans traveling via interplanetary or like traveling interplanetary distances is essentially the technology around uploading a brain to a computer.
Right.
That's the only way to, because then you can hit the speed of light. Still going to take 4 years to get somewhere else.
Yeah.
But then, okay, your brain's uploaded. Your brain is sent as a signal.
Oh, that is so fucking trippy.
Another planet.
Oh, that is so fucking trippy.
What over there receives the signal? Like, that's essentially teleportation. Because teleportation in Star Trek...
Dude, you're actually fucking me up right now.
Really?
I've never heard this.
I don't know if I've heard it somewhere or if it's just coming out of my
ass. You're just making it up?
So
okay.
It might be. Well, like, in my mind, teleportation can't... It just wouldn't work because you can't transport solid particles like that. You would have to remake the person.
Right.
Which, theoretically...
Which is what it is in Star Trek, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But you still can't explain it.
Yeah.
But the way they say it happens is it breaks down your entire body and then puts it back together on the ship.
Well, in the same way that I upload a video over Wi-Fi, if I could figure out how to put my brain in a zip file and send it to Alpha Centauri...
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Then it would only take 4 years to get there, which is a long time.
What if...
But it wouldn't feel like anything because my brain is in a particle.
Now we're getting real stonery, and I like it.
Hell
but,
yeah.
like, what if you could then do that in a way... Because imagine the transport... Like, say you're a brain, you upload it into a system, and then you send that. Even if it takes 4 years for that signal to get where it's going, from the brain's perspective...
No time.
And then, could you send the brain back and put it back into a body?
Sure.
God,
why not?
Maybe
Probably have
that's
to be
it, baby.
some sort of a like robotic brain type body.
Yeah.
We could put a computer in a human flesh suit, but like, why?
That'd be stupid.
Just make
Yeah,
me
just
a
make a
cyborg
robot.
at that point. I'm tired of hurting my knees.
Yeah.
It's like,
Tired of my back hurting.
I'm ready to be a robot over here.
Dude, I actually am pumped. I'd do it.
Oh yeah,
Like a heartbeat.
yeah. Not even a question. My grandma's already got 2 robotic knees and like a robotic shoulder. Yeah, she's mostly metal.
I want my eyes. I want to see all the colors the shrimp sees. That's what I want to do.
I want shrimp eyes.
I want to see new colors.
It's gonna be like Altered Carbon. I don't know if you watched that
No, I didn't.
show. It was pretty good. The first season was pretty good. Essentially, it was very like apocalyptic. Like the rich have all this technology and they can't die and they can just redo their bodies and remake all this shit. And poor people have to like live as regular humans. They get killed all the time. And it's pretty good. It's very bloody. But it's fun. It's a good. It's 10 episodes. Recommend it. Anyway, sure. What was I talking about? I threw myself off. I'm a terrible podcast host.
We were talking about the robot brain.
So we were talking about the robot brain.
And replacing yourself with body parts.
That's the other part is, like, I guess now with AI, we could theoretically send an unbuilt robot to Mars, make it build itself on Mars, and then have it run around and do tasks, science. I don't like.
Yeah, we could.
What do we even need humans for? We're so fragile.
I do think there's something in like the poetry of sending a human, like just like for the metaphor of like we literally have gone to other places, and I think we can do more if there's humans there. Like just I don't know. It's more improvisational and shit.
The
like
rover was exciting.
Yeah.
Not even close to the same level.
Oh,
of
it's gonna be so
excitement
dope
as
when Elon Musk lands on Mars and takes a step out.
I hope he dies immediately. He's the only. I want the second person to live forever. I want Elon Musk.
It's gonna
to
be
just,
cool to find
get
out.
cocky and take his helmet off and be like, "No, I've terraformed it. It's got oxygen."
I remember. I don't know if it's still true, but I remember, like, at least the last time I heard about it, they think the people who are going to go to Mars are our age. Whoever it is our age because I think they're still planning a Mars trip for like 2030 something.
Wow.
So it's going to be someone in like 30s or 40. Like they're not sending like a 23-year-old.
Gen Z could never.
No, Gen Z could never go to Mars.
There's no TikTok on Mars. It wouldn't make it.
Gen Z doing a dance on Mars.
All right, they have to though.
Yeah,
I think that
someone
would be. You
I mean,
do a
it's
dance
gonna be on
Mars.
TikTok. When we land on Mars, it'll be on TikTok.
The only thing. I'm taking the day off work.
And then you have to spend.
I'm setting up the live stream
because I don't know
We're
if
doing
anyone
a party on your roof. Like,
I'm having a fucking party on my roof. I don't know if anyone I don't know if Neil Armstrong thought about it or if it was like a thing. But now Neil Armstrong's like one small step for man bullshit.
Yeah.
Now someone's gonna be writing their first sentence the whole way there.
The whole way.
And
it's
like,
gonna take 4 years, something like that.
Yeah, and they're just gonna be in cryo sleep. It's
gonna
fucking
be
like, what do I say?
Yeah, right.
Hashtag FYP is the first word said on Mars.
Hashtag comedy. Hashtag
dance. Haha. Hashtag. I don't know,
just one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Hashtag like and subscribe.
Yeah, they might riff. They might just do a riff off the original. One small step for man, one giant leap for
this guy.
For this guy, right? That'd be awesome. If whoever did it was like one small step for man, one giant leap for this guy. That would be. Oh my god! What a beautiful.
This is
thing.
why they don't let people like us into NASA.
I was gonna say, would you make it a bit? Would you make a bit?
Oh, you have to make
I'd
it a
probably
bit.
make it a
which
bit.
is why I don't get hired for important things. I'm not serious. I've literally run into this in my day job.
Really?
People in charge do not like how not serious I am.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does he really care about this company? And it's like,
and then he sits down on a whoopee cushion.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, God damn. I hope someone does. I hope whoever steps on Mars just like squishy is like just something like that would be fucking awesome.
If he like screamed like he got attacked.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But
like
that
War
person,
of the World style.
Whoever that person is, I don't know. Their life is going to be insane after that.
Oh, yeah. Do they come back? I don't think they come back.
No, they come back. They want the parade. They can come back.
Yeah, they could.
They could. It would take like 3 years of their life or something. But like they'd come back and they'd be on Jimmy Fallon so quick.
Oh my god.
It would just be them on like Jimmy Fallon.
Who gets them first? Probably the president.
Probably like MSNBC because that's what.
They're on Morning Joe.
Yeah, probably Morning Joe. But like, I don't know. They'd be on Jimmy Fallon. They'd be everywhere. They'd then run for Senate. Then they'd become corrupt, and then their image would be ruined forever.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be fun.
He could take over Earth and Mars.
Yeah.
He'd run as the first interplanetary senator.
Yeah, I mean that was bad. John Glenn was a senator.
I am the senator.
Dude, John Glenn was a senator for like fucking 30 years, I think. Like someone nuts.
Yeah, I always forget about him.
Or maybe Alan Shepard. I can't remember who one of them was.
One of those spacemen.
One of those guys.
We got 10 minutes left.
Okay.
What else do you want to hit on? What did we miss? We've been all over the place, but we've stayed on topic. So maybe the most on topic I've ever stayed on a podcast.
Okay. I could just talk about my favorite space scene in a movie.
Yeah.
Because I have it.
Let's talk about it, yeah. Because movies, they try to do space all the time.
Right. But this reminded me, I was reminded of it when we were talking before about, like, are there aliens out there? And shit. And there's this movie, Contact. Have you ever seen the movie Contact?
No, but I know of it.
Great fucking movie. It's Jodie Foster in the 90s and a young Matthew McConaughey. A very young Matthew McConaughey. And they make a very odd couple in the movie. Sure. But, like, basically, whatever. It's about, like... It's based on a book by Carl Sagan, and the way they discover aliens in it is the way he came up with that would be the most, like, maybe plausible, which is that they receive a signal... Jodie Foster does, because she works on in SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. And she receives a signal, and they start decoding the signal, and they realize that it's a video file, and they start playing it, and it's a speech of Hitler in 1945 giving a speech. And they're like, what the fuck is this? And the reason that was in it is because that year was the first time our television signals were I can't say signals.
I wasn't gonna bring it up,
but like I can't say signals. But that was the first time we sent signals that would go just indefinitely in space.
Sure.
And it was TV signals from the 40s. And then within that, there was like a design for a machine, whatever. At the end of the movie, I'm going to spoil it, but it's my favorite space scene.
It's from the 90s.
Yeah. Jodie Foster is in this craft that the aliens instructed them how to build, and she's sent to, she doesn't know where. It ends up looking like Pensacola, Florida, because that they wanted to make it familiar for her. And basically she's looking up, and there's all these like passageways in the sky, like all these, like the way she got there was through one of them, and there's all these passageways in the sky, and one of the aliens comes up to her and as like her dad again to make her feel comfortable, and she's like, basically the alien's like, this is your first small step, this is the process, this is how we do it. She's like, can I see more? And he's like, no, all right now you can see is that you know that we exist. You can't see what we look like. You can't see what our civilization looks like, but you can see this, and you can see how you got here. And she's like, who built those? And the alien goes, we don't know. They left a long time ago. Maybe they'll come back one day. And that line for me is like, I like that. Like just the idea that there have like for unconceivable amounts of time, there have been people traveling around the universe to the point where other people who have the ability to travel around the universe don't even know who they are or where they came from.
Yeah.
That what they left is like the pyramids to them, essentially. So I hope that's the case. I hope it's something like that. Because to me, that's the most romantic way for it to end.
Such a positive, like, odds are, so like the idea of malicious aliens, it doesn't, I don't think that would be what would happen.
It doesn't make sense.
Because to get to the point where you can travel interstellar, you have to be so cooperative as a species,
right?
That when that civilization sees another, unless they are the most like racist, like they are the most,
they just really
aliens,
agreed on one form of racism.
Love their people and they hate everything else.
They are uniformly bigoted.
It's the only way I can think that like some real asshole aliens would be showing up.
So funny. Because you're right, that could be one of the barrier you were talking about, like violence amongst a species. You're not getting anywhere.
It's I mean, with humans, it's a process. We're slowly becoming less and less bigoted over time.
We're getting there. I'm hoping one day
we might blow each other up before we.
I
fully
just hope we
get
get to. I watch Star Trek because I'm like, that's what I want. Because in Star Trek, it's like a perfect society and whatever, and none of the conflict comes from humanity. It comes from outside.
Sure.
So like, I mean, that's a cool idea. When I watch Star Trek, I'm like, dude, I would give up all of comedy. I would give up everything I do and everything I love to be like a janitor on the Enterprise. To be like to just like clean the toilets on a Star Trek ship. I'd give up everything in my life.
But we know after like 2 weeks you're gonna hate that job.
Not even a little bit.
No, you'd be the happiest janitor.
I'd be so happy. You could go to 10 Forward, which is the bar that Whoopi Goldberg's the bartender at in Star Trek. And you could go and you could drink with Whoopi Goldberg, and there's like a giant window, and so I could spend
Whoopi Goldberg or Whoopi
Goldberg. I don't know why I can't pronounce things today.
Borg like she was a robot, and I was like,
Borg is the enemy species in Star Trek.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, that's Whoopi Goldberg. But I could, if I can spend every end of my day like sipping a cocktail and looking out a window onto space, yeah, fuck it, I give up my whole life. Dude, I don't give a fuck what I'm doing during the day. I'll kill space rats.
Yeah,
I'll clean toilets. I don't give a shit.
I mean, the happiest staff member at my high school was a janitor, so
jolly dude.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you could look out on the endless wonder of the universe every day.
Probably freak out.
Probably have a bit of a moment.
It'd be tough.
It'd be a tough one. But that's my dream job.
Oh man, do you ever watch the Kurtzagot videos?
No, what's
like in a nutshell?
I don't know what that is.
I'll send them to you. They're like these cartoon YouTube videos. They're 10 minutes long, and they pick a topic, and it kind of ranges from environmentalism to like physics, but they have a ton on space.
Okay.
And so that's where I know a lot of the stuff about the Fermi paradox and the Great Barrier and the Kardashev scale and like all that other stuff. So it's just like these little bite-sized, like super researched videos.
That's nice.
With a lot of these little cartoon birds. I'll show you one.
No,
You'll get it. But for the listeners, if you haven't looked, YouTube in a nutshell, because that is a great place to learn a ton about all this stuff.
On that note, I also suggest this YouTube channel called Astrum. ASTRUM.
Okay.
And it's just very ASMR. It's like the same thing you just said, but the guy's just like, and then the nebula spins slowly.
Always wanted to jerk off to space.
It's really nice. It's really nice. It'll really get you there.
Well, we're at an hour.
We did it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
that
dude.
was great. I could talk about this forever, but I honestly think I'm out of topics.
Yeah, we did a lot.
We
dug in.
Cruised through. If we could travel through space at the speed we just did this podcast, topic per minute, no podcast is better than this one.
I'm proud to win that award.
Where can people find you?
At J Finnegan Comedy on Instagram, and that's the main one.
And you post a lot of clips and stuff.
I post a lot of clippy dupes.
Very good crowd work.
Thank you. And I do make sketches sometimes, but that's where you could follow all my shit. Just J Finnegan Comedy.
Very nice.
It'll be there.
Yeah. If you're in New York, check them out at New York Comedy Club.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Follow me, as always, at Corey T Comedy on all social media. And if you're in New York, come to a comedy show every single week at Ferns in the East Village. We will get you on soon, I promise. And I've been doing this the last couple episodes. If anyone listens to this episode and they are in New York and they're coming to the show and they specifically want to see Jack, shoot me a message on Instagram and I will get him on the show that you want to see him for.
Cool.
I'm raffling off spots on my podcast
That's
now.
pretty dope, dude.
Anything to get viewers.
The freaking grind, bro.
Like, subscribe. Jack, let's do this again sometime.
Cool. Absolutely, dude. Thank you.